Well, the sky is clear and more blue than it has been in a couple weeks. This post-crash body needs to stretch and flex. Let's go for a walk. So a couple of you asked about how things were going at work, whether the things that were frustrating me and getting me down are getting any better. Short answer is not really. It's fine, everything's still good, still loving work, there's no real problems there. Just the things that I was hoping to change didn't end up changing, and now we're focusing on surveys and other stuff that we need for funders and moving forward, which is totally just the reality of work. But I'm actually feeling a little bit happier because I'm realizing that I cannot be super thrilled at work sometimes. That's totally fine. Just sort of that idea that it's okay if I'm not thrilled 100% of the time is making me feel better. I have been finding things to keep me excited though. Turns out I get to go to Toronto in September, so I'm very excited about that. The hotel I'm staying at is right close to YouTube Studios, so I'm excited about that. If any of you know how to get an invite for there, let me know. And if there's any Toronto YouTubers that you know that think would like to collaborate with me, I would be into that too. Today's another big meeting day, which means I'm gonna get as much outside time as I can. The more time I get stuck in the office, the more time I just need to breathe. And with the air being cleaner, I can breathe, so bonus. Speaking of which, I should get walking and actually breathe a little bit. So let me explain to you why we're talking about surveys at work. Working at a not-for-profit, you have all these funders, and the funders can be provincial or federal or even businesses. But regardless of who they are, they want to know that the money that they're giving you is actually being used for a good purpose. So every year we gather stats about the information that we teach, who we teach to, what we teach, and if they've learned anything. But that becomes the problem. How do you know if you've learned something, or how do you know if someone else has learned something? Traditionally we've used surveys, but there's lots of problems with surveys, especially if a person can't read or write. Handing them a survey can be a little challenging. But there's this understanding for a lot of people that if you don't do surveys, people could just kind of tell you whatever they wanted to. So that then becomes the question. How do you know that the information that you're getting from other people is honest information? There's been lots of studies on that, and generally speaking, what they say is the best way to collect the information is the one that removes the most barriers. So for people who might not speak English, or maybe even have a relationship with the written word that is complicated, written surveys are not the best way. Interviews are the best way. Having that one-on-one, getting to hear people react and maybe even question how the question is worded. But for people who are in more professional settings where the written word means truth and authenticity and value, then things like written surveys are really, really important. But when you're an organization that doesn't have 40 people, how do you do both? So we're trying to find a way somewhere in between where we have a survey for the times that it works the best, and then we have the ability to do it orally and get information from there when that works the best. Orally. And because each one of us works in a different population, that can be really iffy. I was even thinking about working with the people that I work with, or even the people that I hang out with in the kink community. If I gave them a written survey, chances are they wouldn't take the time to answer it honestly. But if I sat and talked to them and asked them their story and asked them to tell me a little bit about what was going on and why they answered a certain way, I'd probably get a pretty good answer. But if I was at a university, there's no way. They don't have time for that. They don't want to tell stories. They just want to know what you want to know, give you the information, and then you can leave. So it made me curious about you, fam. Like, what way of collecting information do you find the most easy to be truthful? Is it orally, telling stories, or is it written? And tell me why. I'm really curious to know. At the end of the day, all of us that work here just want to do our jobs as best as possible and make the funders happy so that we can do things like pay bills. But ultimately, we want to know that we're making a difference, that when we're talking about HIV prevention and we're talking about sexual health, that we're actually helping people get to that spot of being healthier. And so it's important to find out the best way to get that information, even if it means sitting inside and looking at surveys and arguing about semantics and wording, which makes me want to throw up. But you know, a little bit of nausea never killed anybody. Especially for a paycheck. So we had our meeting, and the conclusion we came to was that the best way to make sure that we don't get lies is to make people not have a reason to lie to us. Have a relationship with them, talk to them, make them understand that the information that we're asking, no matter what they answer, it'll be helpful. So like if you could do that with any relationship, it'd probably be helpful. Maybe we can sell that to counseling companies if we figure it out. Best way to make sure you get honesty from your partner. Talk to them. Make sure that they believe you when you say any answer is okay. Treat them with dignity and respect. I think we're onto something here. Could make millions. Copyright Dylan Richards 2018. You can't steal it. I'm gonna buy a boat or a hot tub. Boat for a hot tub. Be a big hot tub. Worth it.